Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love these golf stories. They are my favorites. Here's one that I just absolutely had to sit back and chuckle about. The golfer and the caddy are over on the golf course, and the golfer says, "Please stop checking your watch. It's too much of a distraction." And the caddy looks at him and says, "It's not a watch. It's a compass." Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Let's get a patriot to call in with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Thursday lunch bunch day at Denny's. Oh, good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, our major sponsor, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and Valley-Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Great big antique tractor show going on this weekend. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valley-Wide Home and Ranch. Right now, let's go to the phone lines and have the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Nobody's called in.
Well, that's your fault. You're supposed to just open the phone lines and let them roll into the studio.
I wish I could. I could snap of a finger.
There you go. Well, snap the finger and go ahead and do the pledge.
All right. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Turn up your mic next time, Wheels. It's a little bit faint, okay?
Okay.
Way
all
too
right.
low. All right. Thank you very much, Wheels. And right now it's time for the weather forecast, and it's brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-6945. All your carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor, everything and whatever you need to make your house a home, along with all the newly refurbished furniture, too, at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. And right now, here is the weather.
Now, yesterday we hit a high of about 110, and you guys were up into the upper 80s, make that low 90s. You're going to be pretty much in that same realm as far as temperatures are concerned. And one of the reasons why I say that is because when I'm not shooting photographs, most of the time from about 1 a.m. till about 7 a.m., I watch those great big limos that you see down here, and everybody, those great big celebrities. And I watch about 30, 34 of them a night. And I sit there and I go like, okay, I can pretty much gauge what's going to happen down here, up there, in that Magic Valley. And I got to tell you, this hot weather that you've been seeing that you're getting is going to remain with you pretty much for the next 7 to 10 days. So it's going to get a little bit warmer. So drink a lot of water and enjoy that sun because it's going to get just a little bit hotter. Other than that, through the weekend, you're just going to see a lot of sun, very little clouds. Overnight lows will be in the upper 50s. And other than that, I'm going to go back and finish washing cars. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, thank you very much. And right now, again, we remind you that Cheney Flooring and Home Design, the sponsor of our weather. You know, they've got all your carpet, your vinyl, your tile, newly refurbished furniture. Kyle and Whitney, always serving you to help you make your house a home. At Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-6945. 678-945. Yep, look for the blue door. Hey, Merv May, come on in here, would you please?
All right, a good set of steer calves there, here to get all 31, 31 going out, 32.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for information on the sale today, starting at 10:30 this morning, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, always serving you the sale that works for you at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Here's just a partial list of some of the cattle going through the ring. David Naylor over to Wasequa. Hello, David. 2 trailer loads of Butcher Holstein cows coming in. TLK Dairy bringing in a semi-load of heifers and Butcher cows. And P-Bar S Dairy out to Malda. A semi-load of Holstein steers and a semi-load of Holstein heifers. And, of course, the sale time at 10:30 this morning. Great trailer line run, too, coming in with more cattle. And this is June Dairy Month. And the Burley Livestock Sale Yard salutes all the dairy farmers here in the gem state of Idaho. Burley Livestock Sale Yard with sale time this morning at 10:30 a.m. Merv, sell those steers, would you please?
All right, a good set of steer calves there, here to get all 31, 31 going out, 32, 2.5, 3 going out, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
Oh, thank you very much, Merv. I tell you what, I just wish I could have got some of those prices for my cattle. Hey, I want to remind you, too, that our dear friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric are there to serve you every Monday through Friday. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning, leave them open until 5 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. You heard the temperatures up in the 90s. You heard that I've been talking about air conditioning and filters to make sure your air unit works properly and efficiently. Well, they've got them all right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And the number to call, have your order waiting on the counter, 678-0459, where they always provide warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric. You stop over and see those good folks today. Oh, by the way, the Antique Tractor Show and Contest is going to be at Valley White Home and Ranch this weekend. And they're going to have from 11 to 2 burgers for $1, and the proceeds benefit the local 4-H groups and all kinds of good things. Don't forget, too, they've got a great fishing department over there at Valley White Home and Ranch, along with everything else you need. All the men's Ariat boots are 25% off. I mean, they've got the Shop Vac Pro 10-gallon, just $64.99. There's an outfit that you could use. I use mine all the time. All of this and more at Valley White Home and Ranch, along with all the bug spray and the fly spray at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Farm, ranch, and home, all your supplies, your clothing, everything at Valley Wide Home and Ranch. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear from you and talk about any subject you want to talk about this morning, but I'll give you a couple of ideas. You know, really, when you think about it, what fools would believe, and I've given this a lot of thought myself, how could you possibly believe that man can alter the climate and one country, 2 countries, or for that matter, all of them, do anything that's going to change the climatic conditions in this world? God, and it was said very succinctly by a good friend of mine, Rodney, that calls him many, many times, God has his hand on the thermostat and is in total control. And there are men like Obama that relish the control factor, and they can't wait to see what they can do to control you and I. And I'll tell you something. Next week on this program, I'm going to have quite a few segments devoted to climate change, per se, and what Obama is going to do with his executive orders and the power of the presidency and the EPA to make life literally miserable for you and for me. Whether it's carbon taxes, whether it's a control on our thermostats of heating and air conditioning, whatever it is, we are going to see many more controls come down the pipeline, and it's going to start next week. Don't be surprised at all in the remaining 581 days that this man has in office, that you are going to suffer financially because of this. You are going to see costs to do business or raise a family, run a home, etc. are going to skyrocket, and it could go up on an average of at least $1,000 more a year or more, like I just said. This is going to get a little scary, very scary, and what's going to happen due to the erroneous and false claims of climate change, what this man and this administration will do to fall in lockstep with the United Nations and what they're trying to do with that 7-letter word, control. Be afraid. It's going to get a little rough. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to remind everybody of Berry Equipment and Rental. They're going to have an open house tomorrow on Friday from 11 to 1 at the Burley store, and they're going to have food from Duck Uglies. Oh, wow, that's good eating over there at Duck Uglies. And at Berry Equipment and Rental, they have all the equipment to do the job for you and get it done right. And don't forget, they've got 3 locations to serve you: Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and the Burley location, 159 West Highway 30. And a little bit later on this morning, we're going to have Will Janes from that Burley location on our program talking about the open house and everything else. Berry Equipment and Rental, Twin Falls, Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Today is Lunch Bunch Day, and I want to invite everybody to be there. Almost everybody is going to get a prize today, or maybe even prizes, plural. We've got a lot of things to give away, and we want to say thank you very much to Smith's Food King, Walmart, and Hanson Mortuary, along with the United Dairymen of Idaho, for helping us during June Dairy Month. And everybody be at Lunch Bunch today at 11:30. I am going to scramble as fast as I can to get out of here and get down to Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Thomas and Terry and the whole crew, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The food's always great. Fantastic service with smiling people serving you at Denny's Restaurant. Lunch Bunch today at 11:30. We'll see you there. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Political correctness is absolutely unbelievable. I'm really starting to feel the pinch of political correctness. Now at the University of California, the California Board of Regents and the students want to ban certain phrases that are posted around the campus, like the phrase, America, the land of opportunity, and the phrase, everyone in this country can succeed. This is outrageous. This is absolutely outrageous that our country, the leader of the free world and a beacon of hope for the entire world, absolutely is being subjected to political correctness. Some people say that it is not right for us to be number one. Some people say that we shouldn't promote being number one. Some people say that we shouldn't have the advocacy that this country can succeed if you try hard, and America is the land of opportunity. Some say that by saying that, we're putting ourselves on a pedestal above everybody else. This is outrageous, and it's stupid. We are banning positive achievement phrases. We are banning the idea and the concept that you can succeed if you try in America. You know, what I would like you to do today and I'd like you to call in. You're so good about calling in and giving me your thoughts. I would really appreciate it if you would call in right now and figure out a way today that you can step on and wipe your foot on political correctness. We've got to stop it. Now, let's just talk about this a little bit. Maybe right now or at a coffee break at the office, do or say something that is non-PC. You know, we've got to fight this lunacy. And there are groups out there that want us to stop saying gender-related remarks like him, he, she, her. They want us to stop saying that. And I'm not going to worry about offending anybody. I'm not going to worry about offending the gay and lesbians or the transgenders. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm not going to refer to people in a gender-neutral state. There are other words, and I really want you to consider this, that are absolutely appropriate, are absolutely sensible to use in the proper connotations. Words like Negro, Indian, illegal alien. Those are words that are respectful for the situation because they are in truth. And to suggest that we need to stop saying certain things and kind of put duct tape over our mouth is absolute lunacy. Pray anywhere you want. Pray anytime you want. Whether it's in a restaurant, at a football game, a town hall meeting, at school, you can pray, and don't ever let some clown looking for a circus try to stop you. But we have got to slow down, stop, and curtail this absolute criminal political correctness that is going on in our country. Your thoughts, what other forms of political correctness have affected you or you think may affect you? Give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. I want to hear what you have to say. Don't forget the Relay for Life is going on this weekend, the Minnecasia Relay for Life, at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. And, of course, it starts Friday night, tomorrow night, at 6 p.m. and goes all the way till the next morning on the 20th until 6 a.m. And the opening ceremonies and the caregiver's lap and the luminaria ceremony and everything else connected to the Minnecasia Relay for Life. And by the way, if you can't participate, don't forget, if you'd like to make a donation for cancer research to help destroy that insidious disease of cancer and all of its forms, you can make a donation to the Relay for Life. Contact Patty Shockey at 670-2975. Once again, the Relay for Life at the Cassia County Fairgrounds coming up on this weekend, and I urge you to support those folks, okay? And while we have just a minute also, I want to remind you about BASF. Oh my buddy Ron Ellis. Every Monday, we're going to have Ron on the air through the growing season and talk about BASF and how BASF has done excellent research for the various products to help your crops grow. Products like Preaxor for potatoes, and of course, talking about sugar beets. The sugar beets are off to a fast start right now. And the challenge is going to be to control powdery mildew, and they have that problem all over the state. Well, with early detection and application of Preaxor containing headline and Xemium, it really gives good control. So you check it out, BASF, and my dear friend Ron Ellis. Give him a call, 431-6776, BASF. All right, give me a call, please, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What about our freedom of speech? What about the rights taken away from us? There are movements. I want to go back up on my list here a little bit and talk about some of the sportswear. There are movements now to go to sporting goods stores and kind of stiff arm and strong arm them into not carrying the jerseys for the sportswear of the Cleveland Indians or the Atlanta Braves or the Chicago Blackhawks or the Washington Redskins or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Golden State Warriors, whatever. In a free society, What in the world why are we letting this happen? And I really want you to call because it's going to affect everybody. Pretty soon we're going to be little robots that we can only say and do certain things. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I think that we should all get us a sports memorabilia shirt that has some famous athletic name that is honoring the people who lived here in this continent before we did.
You know, Chris, I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about, and it just happened a couple of evenings ago. The National Hockey League champions for the world this year are the Chicago Blackhawks. I can relate to that logo because the logo for the Blackhawks hockey team is almost exactly like the logo we use for my Fort Atkinson Blackhawks high school team, and it's very honoring, it's prideful, it is absolutely not derogatory in any way, shape, or form, but the critics today are after everything like that.
Well, and on top of that, then there's the names like the Spartans and the remembering our ancestry back when people were really tough and didn't have political correctness. And I think that the problem is I just don't think people have much pride if they can't stand up and be proud of the people who came before us and the natives of this continent. I just think it's so wrong. When did political correctness get started? Who was the idiot that started it?
It's been around for a long, long time, and we scoffed at it, we laughed at it, we kind of raised our eyebrows at it, we made sneers about it. But you know something? It was like a cancer. It started growing, and it started gaining steam with the liberal left. And now it's permeated itself into the colleges with the younger millennials, and these cretins have kept the flag going for political correctness. And right now, it's getting to the point, and mark my words, tell me I'm wrong, but I know I'm right. It's getting to the point within a very short period of time, Chris, everything you say will be monitored, possibly for a paid fine if you offend someone.
Well, I think politically correct is the wrong terminology to use for it. I think it's bullying. It's bullying the American people to think alike and be robots.
Absolutely.
And now then, what made the United States of America great was the fact that we thumbed our nose at failure. And I don't see anything wrong with using these wonderful names for sports names and things like that of people who were powerful and got their power from their ingenuity. And isn't that all about the United States? Are we powerful because we've had some good ideas?
Absolutely. Chris, you know, I wish I had more time to talk. I got another call and then a break at the bottom of the hour. But I want you to call me back a little bit later on and we'll talk more about this. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you. Bye. Nice lady. Caller, I ask your patience. Stay with me just a moment. I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about hearing loss. It is not normal. It is not an age problem. If you're developing hearing loss, you better have it checked out by Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. Number to call for a hearing screening, and I urge you to do this. I did, and I'm so glad I did. 312-0957. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology. And right now, here is the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
The bird flu that devastated some Midwestern farms likely spread by several means on machinery and workers, by rodents and possibly even the wind. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said in a news report released this week. The agency's Animal and Planet Health Inspection Service scientists studied genetic properties of virus samples on more than 80 turkey and chicken farms. The scientists determined that the wild bird introduced the virus onto farms, but that lapsed in biosecurity on farms Environmental factors likely contributed to the spread of the disease. More than 49 million birds died or were put down this spring in 15 states as the virus spread from the Pacific Northwest into Midwestern farms, making it the worst outbreak the U.S. has experienced. For the Capital Press Ag Minute, I am Raul Peña.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and...
Oh, my. Thank you very much. And right now, I'd like to remind you again, Mount Harrison Audiology. This lady helped my hearing, and she can help yours. Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Number to call for an appointment, 312-0957. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I have two real quick thoughts. One is, if we keep up this political correctness, pretty quickly throw the dictionary out and just go around saying, And the other one is, this former leader or head of the NAACP identified herself as black, even though she's white. So, if she got thrown out of her position for that, then why today I feel like a man when I'm a woman, or vice versa?
Yeah.
Why can't that be stopped too?
You know, I wish I had a lot more time to talk to you this morning, because next week I'm going to go into this transgender and lesbian and gay and the whole permeation into our society, and this saying, well, we can't say his, we can't say he, we can't say her, we can't say she, it might offend somebody. Ma'am, I'm going to tell you right now, I will pull the plug on this program and cancel my contracts. When they come to me and say you can't say that anymore, it might offend somebody, I'm going to say this, and I do not mean to sound disrespectful. The hell with them.
Amen.
Thank you for your call. God bless you. Thank you. I'm sick of this political correctness. You wouldn't believe the amount of people, the urchins, that call me and say, well, you can't say that, you might offend somebody. Well, you said that, and that offends me. I don't care anymore. Callers welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to check with Wheels over at the station. Did my dear friend Bert Stevenson call yet, Wheels?
He is. He's on the phone right now.
I'll be right with him. Bert, I'm running about 3 minutes late because I also run my mouth off, so I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget, it's June Dairy Month, and some of our great sponsors include Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Oh, my. They've got everything for Dad. Fishing equipment, hunting equipment, camping equipment. Sportsman's Warehouse has it all. You stop in and see them today, because this weekend is Father's Day. And also for June Dairy Month, we say thank you for what they do to support everyone at Sportsman's Warehouse. And also June Dairy Month, and that's Butte Irrigation at 116 South, 600 West of Paul, 22342 Kimberly Road in Twin. They've got everything for your irrigation needs. And Bryce is at the Paul store, Paul's at the Kimberly store, and Butte Irrigation will get you wet. Thank you very much, Sportsman's Warehouse and Butte Irrigation, helping support June Dairy Month. Good morning, my dear friend, former Representative Bert Stevenson. I am so sorry I'm late getting to you.
Sam, don't apologize at all. Let me not crowd your time here. All I wanted to do was to let the people know that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in the little theater there by the King's Fine Arts Center, the District 27 is meeting to select a replacement for Dean Cameron. And the thing I wanted people to know was the public is invited. The precinct people will meet at 7 o'clock to review the order of business. At 8 o'clock, we'll have the candidates make their presentations. I want people to realize that under the state law and party rules, the only people that get to vote here is precinct committeemen.
Right, absolutely. Wasn't there some discrepancy and some bad press on this, and people thought they were going to make the election and selection? That's not true at all, is it?
Right. This is a replacement. It's under the party rules, and Dean Cameron was a Republican, and so that's the party that gets to select his replacement. Had he been a Democrat, the Democrat Party would do that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but 3 names, I believe, are going to be selected out of the people that are running, and then they'll go to the governor, and then the governor makes the selection. Is that correct, Bert?
That's correct, Zeb. And we have 8 candidates that have so far indicated they're going to put their hat in the ring, and we're happy to have them there. A good selection there. If you want to hear their names, I'll run through them in a hurry.
Yeah, would you please? I'd appreciate that.
Kelly Anton, Clay Handy, John Stokes, Wayne Hurst, Wayne Shank, Harold Bowman, and Charlie Creason.
Okay.
And from there, we got some really fine candidates that we'll select here. My concern, Zeb, was that people not come to that meeting thinking they were going to vote, that it would be just the precinct people.
Well, it's a meeting where the public can go and watch the political process in action, but the nomination and voting actually only takes place with the precinct committeemen.
Right, and it will be, other than the counting of the votes, everything else will be public.
All right.
The candidates will be there.
Bert, how are you doing otherwise? Quickly, what's the water situation? Any bad news, good news, or no news? What's going on?
Well, we got the reservoirs pretty well filled up, and we're feeling a lot better than we did 6 weeks ago, Seb.
Okay. And I want to say thank you for all you do for the state and have done for the state of Idaho, and thank you for calling in, and please accept my apology for keeping you waiting.
Zeb, don't ever do that. And thank you for being so kind to me and Elaine personally, and for the people that you represent here. We do appreciate what you do, Zeb.
Bert, I appreciate it. And by the way, say hello to your lovely wife. Thank you so much.
I'll do that.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thanks,
I just absolutely, and I think it's fair to say, love those people because they are so good, and I appreciate them. Thank you very much, Bert and Elaine Stevenson. Calls are welcome, and honestly, think about it, folks. Little by little, inch by inch, step by step, every day, and I'm going to try to, over the weekend, do a little survey and a little bit of study on this. We're seeing our rights, our freedoms, and our insidious political correctness take over and take away from us. And whether it's prayer at a restaurant, I remember a story, and I'm going to try to have Deanne find this, but it was something that took place, I think, down in the state of Texas, if I'm not wrong. And it was a family of 4. They went into a restaurant, and they were sitting at the table, and the father of the family said grace and blessed the food, and someone at a nearby table complained to the management that the family, had no right to pray in public. This is the kind of garbage. This is the kind of garbage that political correctness is coming to, whether it's what we say, how we address certain things. And I'll be quite frank with you. And boy, you can go ahead and send the hate mail to me. I honestly laughed at a lot of the Polak jokes. I laughed at a lot of the Italian jokes. I laughed at a lot of the black jokes. I told some of those same jokes. But you know what? When the Polak jokes, for instance, were kind of the in thing, most of my Polish friends back in Wisconsin, and there are many Polish people back in Wisconsin when I was going to the university, they laughed harder than I did. We could laugh at ourselves. Now we can't. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Real quick, we're going to put you on hold for 60 seconds, and Old Wheels is going to tell us about the Silver State Stampede.
Follow the crowd to family entertainment at its best. The 2015 Silver State Stampede thundered into Elko July 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Elko Fairgrounds. Kicking off this weekend of rodeo action on Thursday, July 9th is the annual Stampede Kickoff Party, featuring a $10 tri-tip dinner, followed by the Old West Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, the Western Trade Show, and ending the night with live music and dancing to the sounds of the Jeff Palmer Band. The fun continues on Friday and Saturday with a full roster of PRCA rodeo action, followed by the always popular popular Ring of Fear, and more live music and dancing. You can get your tickets today at Roy's, the J.M. Capriola Company, the Boot Barn, IFA, or the Elko Chamber of Commerce. For more information, check online at www.silverstatestampede.com or call 777-934-6502. Follow the crowd to the 2015 Silver State Stampede, July 9th, 10th, and 11th. Family entertainment at its very best.
All right, thank you very much. Wheels, by the way, please turn the feed to me in my headsets up a little bit. I'm having a hard time hearing some of that. Caller, good morning. You're on the air, please.
Hey, Zeb, you know how scatterbrained I am. I left off Doug Pickett's name.
Oh, okay, and I should have noticed it too. I apologize.
Well, no, don't you apologize. I made that error. And if there are other people that want to get on the nominating list, call Mark Peterson at 670-2576, and that's how we do it. Zeb, I'm sorry I missed Doug Pickett, but yes, he is.
All right. Well, Bert, thank you for calling back, and we got all that rectified. So thank you very, very much.
Well, I want to do a better job than the Times News does about making it.
Excellent. I like that. That's a good jab. Thank you very much, Bert. I appreciate it. Thanks. Oh, dear. Call me right now on political correctness. We got to fight this thing. I don't care if it is saying a prayer or blessing the food at a public restaurant. I don't care if it's wearing sportswear from a favorite team. I don't care if it's in reference to he, she, him, her, whatever. You've got to stop this. It's gone way too far. And the ball that's going down the alley is aimed at us. We are the pins. And they're trying to knock us over so that we have basically a completely governed verbal society. If you're not worried about this, then we really have a problem. I am very concerned about our freedom of expression, our freedom of speech. It works both ways. And when someone says, well, you can't say him or her, that's sexist, say it anyway. Okay? We got to fight back. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. That lady that called in just a little bit ago, I hope she's still listening. She hit the nail right on the head. Pretty soon we're going to be able to say only like grunts. That's about basically what our free speech is coming to. Don't forget Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main in Burley, right across from the airport with Zach and the rest of the crew, and I mean a great crew, serving you with all your lumber packages for remodeling, all your roof needs with all the shingles, excuse me, and all your window needs from Western Windows and carpet. They've got it all, including the Tartar Farm and Ranch equipment and panels. Everything is right there at Minnecasia Sales in Burley, and they bring you on Tuesdays Dr. History. All right, thank you so much. I think we'll do the weather real quick, and then, come on, get up off the chair, dial the number. Maybe PC doesn't bother you. It scares me to death. It's another erosion of our free speech and our thoughts. Call me. I want to hear what you have to say, please. We'll do the weather real quick, and the weather is brought to you this hour by Mad River Laser. I'll bet you if you stop in today, you can still possibly get an apron for Dad that says World's Greatest Chef, or maybe a coffee mug, or get one of those buck knives. They sell them right there, really beautiful buck knives, and have it engraved. What a nice Father's Day gift. All of this and more at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert, and right now here is the weather.
Well, yesterday we hit a high of about 110, and you guys were up into the upper 80s, I think that low 90s. You're going to be pretty much in that same realm as far as temperatures are concerned, and enjoy that so, because it's going to get just a little bit hotter. Other than that, through the weekend, you're just going to see a lot of sun, very little clouds, overnight lows will be in the upper 50s, and enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. And for all your promotional items for your business, your your caps, jackets, shirts, everything at Mad River Laser. 502 East Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-2293. Really nice people. By the way, while I'm waiting for your calls that I hope are coming in on political correctness, maybe this topic doesn't bother you. Maybe you think, oh, Shaw, it'll never happen. Well, it is. Little by little, it's happening. It's encroaching. It's like a cancer that has to be stopped. Was listening to Jerry Seinfeld on a news broadcast the other evening, and he will not work any campuses or universities. Nada, won't go. Because he said now the millennials are so caught up in this political correctness, anything and everything you say or make a joke about is taboo, and they're coming after the comedians. What? Think back to the Al Jolsons. Think back to the painting their face black. Think back to the songs. Think back to vaudeville. Think back to our past. And I actually think we got along a lot better than we are now. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. It was my turn. You know, it used to be when you looked at the catalogs and the forms for parties like Tupperware and Pampered Chef and, oh my goodness, all of those party groups that went by direct sales or whatever, they would have the hostess will receive these benefits. Mm-hmm. You don't see that word hostess anymore. It's now the host.
You're kidding.
Will receive these benefits.
Oh, my.
And that's been around for quite some time that I've noticed that.
Oh, my.
And, you know, I enjoyed being a girl, going along with flower drum songs. I don't want to be an it.
You know, Linda, thank you for saying what you said. And we got to stand up and we've got to honor that. I love opening doors for ladies. I love treating ladies, as the fairer sex. And I never will forget, I opened a door one time at the courthouse going in to renew my driver's license, and this woman that I opened the door for, she said, I'm perfectly capable of opening the door myself. And quite frankly, I got to tell you and I got to confess, I had the urge to let the door go and hit her in the south end very hard. I'm sorry, that was my feeling.
Yeah, I know. And it's been that way for a long time, that we are just as good as you, and we can do anything you can. In fact, we can do anything you can do. We can do better.
Yeah.
And yet, that's not the whole point behind it.
Yeah.
I don't think. You know, we've given over to these groups that have their agenda.
Yeah.
And it's sad. The other thing is how many people have really asked the Blackhawks, the Seminoles, the Chiefs, whatever. Chiefs, of course, isn't a tribe, but how many people have been asked, does it bother you to see your name on a shirt?
Yeah.
Now, Redskins, that would be interesting to ask.
Well, and I can tell you this from the research.
They do as much as we do.
I can tell you this much, Linda, and honestly, the research on that name, Redskins, 80% of the American public still supports the use of the word Redskin. But here's the interesting factor, and we've talked about it many times on this program. The Florida State Seminoles, a college team, the Seminole Indian tribe has stood up and said, you leave the Seminole name alone at Florida State. You don't want to know why? Because they're making a ton of money off of it because of all the trinkets and everything else they sell at the football games. They don't want to see that Seminole name taken away.
That's what I thought you had said, that actually it's in their favor.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm getting tired of little groups that think they know it all.
Yeah.
Telling us what we're going to do without asking us how we feel about it.
All right, here we go. I got to do a commercial, but here's how you and I are going to end the conversation. Thank you, Linda, a lovely lady that I really enjoy visiting with her. Thank you.
And thank you, Zeb, a fine man who stands up for his ideals.
And we will listen to your beautiful female voice at Lunch Bunch. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you, Zeb. I'll be there.
All right, God bless. Thank you very much.
God bless you, too.
I love that lady, and I'll guarantee you one thing. Nobody is... You know what I'm waiting for, and I mean this, and I'm scared about this. I am scared about this, and I've talked to Deanne about it. Someday, someone is going to complain at Lunch Bunch, maybe not within the confines of our Lunch Bunch, but somebody else is going to say, I don't want to hear that Pledge of Allegiance. I don't want to hear that prayer. I don't want to hear that national anthem. Oh, I hope they don't come up and tell me to my face. Don't forget, Maverick presents the 40th annual Idaho Regatta, June 26, 27, and 28 coming up. Oh, it is going to be fun in Burley at the Burley Golf Course Marina. Actually, it starts on Thursday the 25th with the show and shine and the fish fry over at Rupert. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the best of boat racers coming in from all points of the compass. This is going to be wild fun right there at the 40th annual Idaho Regatta at the Burley Golf Course Marina. Don't you miss it. It's going to be Idaho fun in the sun, I can guarantee you. Hey, caller, just a minute. I'll be right there. I got to remind everybody, too, about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, right behind Dr. Crane's office. You better believe it. Call the number, make an appointment, and 678-1191. They at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation can help you get back to feeling like you. Nick Greenwell, physical therapist, and all the physical therapists with the exercises, hydrotherapy pool, everything, and the knowledge to help you at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Hey, I just want to tell you about saying your Pledge of Allegiance prayer and the national anthem. You know, the people I've noticed that complain the most are the ones who didn't have the guts or the moxie to sign up, give their life away for their country and their fellow man. They're the ones who are too busy sniveling and cowering in a corner and wanting a handout or the money to think they're better than you, but they ain't got that guts or the mental fortitude to stand up and say, here's my life for my country, my friends, and my family.
I agree.
That's all I got.
I agree. And I really appreciate your comments on that. Thank you so much for your call. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I am waiting. I know it's going to happen. I have already been through a couple of problems at various rodeos across the country, and where I do the Cowboys prayer. I do the Cowboys prayer prior to the national anthem. And I will not stop. I had one committee, and I've told you this story, it's probably old hat to you, but I had one committee about 5 minutes before the rodeo. They came to me, and it was not here in the state of Idaho, and the one committee man came up to me and said, I'm sorry that one person complained yesterday about that prayer. We better not do it. And I said, 1 out of 8,000 people? And I said, we're 5 minutes away from starting the rodeo. Why don't you go find another announcer? That kind of put a little egg on his face, and I did the prayer. I am not going to be a part of an event that restricts or limits or subdues the right of expression. I'm not going to be a part of that event. And when it comes to praying, I'll pray whenever and wherever I please. When it comes to saying the Pledge of Allegiance or singing the national anthem, I will do it and not be stopped by any one person or group. That's it. Not going to happen. You can complain until you run out of Cheerios to eat in breakfast in the morning. I'm not going to stop. Nor should you. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab tires. Oh, and then don't give me this bleeding heart stuff. Oh, well, if it offends somebody, then we better quit. Well, they, the offended, can go bury their head in a bucket of sand for all I care. Don't forget, if you're ready for summer travel, you better stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh my, they have a free pre-trip safety check, and boy, that's important. That is important before you hit the road to go see Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred. You better believe it, and check out all the great tire buys. Like on sale right now, the Ultra Z900 Long Tread Life Smooth Quiet Ride, and the best in brake service, and front end alignment, shocks and struts, everything right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. 7 locations, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We got some birthdays. I understand, Deanna, is this correct, that Paul Peterson's birthday is today? So happy birthday to the cartoonist and really a nice guy, Paul Peterson, at our lunch bunch. And Kate Edwards' birthday is going to be Saturday. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. There you go, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. And, of course, lunch bunch is today at Denny's Restaurant. Great food, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And we're going to have a lot of prizes in celebration of June Dairy Month. So everybody be there at Denny's Restaurant at 11:30. Coming up next hour, of course, we have the Chamber Report. We're going to talk to a boat racer by the name of Chris Kenner for the Regatta and Dog Nation. Rita Ramsey, all kinds of great, great folks coming on the program this morning. Don't you miss it. I'll be back in 6. You have a good Thursday. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2 on a beautiful, nice-looking Thursday out here. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and Valley Wine Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valley Wide Home and Ranch. We're going to have our guest with us in just a moment, but before we do, I've got some good words to get out to you. And that, of course, also includes Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with our dear friend Joel Heward and his family and his staff, serving you when there's the passing of a loved one. They can help. They will help, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please remember the number to give them a call, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Joel Heward, Hanson Mortuary, and call the number for the pre-planning of funerals to help alleviate a lot of the stress and worry for our families. They will help. Hanson Mortuary, 436-5636. By the way, quickly, every day on the program when we start things off, we have our weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, everything you need to make your house a home at Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Really, really nice folks. Oh, and by the way, Father's Day is right around the corner, and we've got a couple of sponsors that we want to say thank you to for Father's Day, and that's the Goodie Basket at 133 West Main in Burley. Oh my goodness, they can make up a basket for your dad or hubby. Shelley and the gals over there are excellent at this, and they can also deliver sandwiches and salads to your hubby or dad's place of work, delivery in the Mini-Cassia area. Call them at 647-0106. The Goodie Basket, wishing all the dads happy Father's Day, as does Magic Valley Irrigation. 44 East, 500 South of Burley. Jeff and the crew wish all the pops out there, all the dads, a very happy Father's Day this weekend. Number to call for all your irrigation needs right there at Magic Valley Irrigation, 678-3101. Really good folks helping to promote and have a happy Father's Day on Sunday. Well, look, who I've got on the phone right now, beautiful blonde lady over in her office at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, the director, Kay Cameron.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
I'm great. What's going on over there?
Well, after the program last week, I heard that you had Mark Moyle on the program talking about the Idaho Regatta, and we are very excited to have the regatta in town. And there's something I want to talk about with the regatta, and that is the impact events have on our community.
Okay.
So last year at the Idaho Regatta, the Chamber and the staff here, we went to the regatta and we surveyed people as they came to either participate in the event or they came as a spectator to observe the event. And so we watched we surveyed the 3 days that it was gated on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we did that because we were curious to know what exactly is the impact on our community for this event. And all events in our community are very important. But this one, however, we were able to have a captive audience, which is why it was chosen, because it's gated. You know, people have to have a ticket to come in, and so there's a way to capture the audience and survey them. So we surveyed people, and I've got some interesting things that I want to share with you about the event.
All right.
First of all, the majority of the people that participate and attended the event were from out of the area. And that is pretty important to know because the majority of those stayed in hotels or motels here in our community. And so they're paying for overnight stays, they're eating out, they're buying gas and different things. And so that's an important thing for us to know. We were curious to know if they visited other parts of the area, and some of them said yes, they were headed to maybe Craters of the Moon or City of Rocks or going to Boise. One of them responded that they were going to go everywhere. They just love Idaho, and they love coming to Burley to participate in the Idaho Regatta. And so when it's all said and done, one of the most significant things that we learned is in the 3 days of the event, and the event they actually start with testing on Thursday, but we were only quantifying on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because those were the days that were ticketed. The impact for our community for those 3 days is just under $1 million.
Wow.
Yes. And so when people say to us, well, these events really they're not that important, the reality is they are very important in our community. And they, the survey, so we did the survey. We worked with the Department of Labor and their regional economist, who's the numbers gal and who puts this all together. And she put together a nice little survey or a narrative summary of everything. But so the impact is just under $1 million, and with the creation of 14 jobs because of the amount of people that come to our community for those 3 days.
Yeah, but let me interrupt you for a second, because there's a residual effect and a turnover effect also, as you're very well aware. And I can relate to this because of like the National Finals Rodeo going to Las Vegas. If $20 million was spent, and I know it's more than that, but they look at a turnover or a residual effect of the money spent and it turns over 4 to 5 times, you're not talking $20 million, you're talking $100 million.
Yes. So this is the total impact. This isn't the direct sale. She's got this all broken down for us. But still, in a community of our size for 3 days. Now, you've got to remember that they actually start with boat testing on Thursday afternoon.
Right.
And we didn't even take that into consideration. A lot of the racers coming into town will come in early in the week, and they'll leave, Monday or Tuesday or whenever. And so that's not taken into consideration. We were just focused on Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the event.
Right.
And so it's possible, and quite likely, actually, the impact is higher. So you have your direct impact, and that is the sales in your hotel rooms, your sales of gas, your sales at the restaurant, but the overall impact, because indirectly that money turns over within our community and creates a larger impact.
There you go. And, interestingly enough, right after I hang up the phone from you in just about 30 seconds, I'm going to have one of the boat racers on the air with us talking about this.
Well, great. And we sure do appreciate the boaters coming to Burley. I know that they enjoy it here. We sure hope our community will support them and continue to support them. They're celebrating their 40-year anniversary. One thing that was interesting from the survey is that 16 people that responded to the survey had attended the event for 39 years in a row.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
and that's pretty awesome. But enjoy the event. It's coming up next weekend. They have a parade through town next Friday morning, I believe. I don't have the calendar right in front of me.
I do right in front of me. I have it. The boat parade is going to meet and greet at Smith's Food and Drug at 9:30, and then the parade starts at 10 next Friday.
Next Friday, perfect. And so that will all be on our community calendar. Call us if you have any information. But support these racers, because the impact in our community is huge. And that's the one thing I don't want the residents to forget. Don't push them aside and think it's not important, because it really is important to the overall economics of our area.
I got to run, but I want you to quickly tell everybody how they can contact the Chamber.
Come by and see us at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn on the beautiful Snake River. Find us online at minicaddychamber.com. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Very well done, Kay. Thank you. God bless. Have a good week.
Okay,
thank you very much. We're going to have our next guest on the phone talking about the regatta in just a moment. Stand by. Don't forget the Idaho Cattle Association celebrating 100 years, and their great big convention is going to be at the Riverside Hotel in Boise on July 14th through the 18th, with so many great topics, so many fun things to do, and a trade show to boot. This is going to be something you do not want to miss, because the Idaho Cattle Association leading the way for the cattle industry and doing a fantastic job for 100 years. And their great big convention for 100 years at the Riverside Hotel in Boise, July 14th through the 18th. Don't miss it. That's coming up next month. Right now, let's go to the phone lines, and I believe we have Mr. Chris Kenner on the phone. Chris, are you there?
Sir. I am, Zeb. How are you this morning?
I am fantastic. I'm sorry I'm running just a few minutes late, but I first of all want to say thank you for taking the time to come on our program. Chris, give us a little background with your involvement at the Idaho Regatta. Tell us about what you're going to be doing.
Okay, I've actually been competing at the event as a racer, driving boats there since around, I would say it was 2004 was the first time I raced there. I was obviously originally from Australia, and I moved over here and had some opportunities to drive for a variety of different teams, and raced for many years there, right through till 2009 was the last time I actually competed there, and I've been there pretty much every year since. But I'm actually returning this year to race for the first time at Burley at the Idaho Regatta since 2009. And my first time in 5 years since 2010. Had a bit of a hiatus for a while, and a great opportunity has arisen, and offered the opportunity to put me back in the driver's seat again.
Chris,
so outside of that, I also, for the past, this will be our fourth year, I run an event within the event at the Idaho Regatta on Friday afternoon. We do the what's called the Idaho Grand Prix Shootout, which is a combination of three classes of boats, Super Stock, Pro Stock, and K-Racing Runabout Flat Bottom. So it's quite a spectacular event. It's turned into what is actually the highest paid three-lap powerboat race, single powerboat race in the whole of the USA right now. We have $5,000 plus of cash to pay out to the 6 competitors, and the way we draw the competitors on this deal, it's a random style draw. We put the numbers for each of the boats in a hat for Super Stock, Pro Stock, and K-Racing Runabout, and it's drawn out randomly at a drivers' meeting on Friday afternoon, and each of those two boats go into that race for a 6-boat event, and it's turned into, like I said, a very spectacular event, and attracted a lot of attention from sponsors and
racers and fans all over the country and also the world now, which is great.
Chris, let me ask you this question. I have never been in a power boat. I have driven stock cars in the past. What is the difference, if any, of being an auto racer versus being a boat racer? What's the difference?
I've been fortunate enough. I've been involved in a lot of different formats of motorsport over the years between Australia, New Zealand, and the USA. I've actually never raced a car per se. I have done a drag racing school on a quarter-mile asphalt style thing and driven a Supercom dragster, which was super fun. But a lot of differences that I pick up between the water and, say, dirt tracks or asphalt. The water is different every lap you go around. It's never the same, any one corner, any straightaway. There's always different rollers and waves, and, you know, on different courses that can be a drastic difference depending on where we're racing, wind conditions, salt water versus fresh water. Salt water is a lot more buoyant than what racing in fresh water is. So when you compare that to asphalt, and certainly no disrespect to asphalt or dirt track racing, I love it. You know, it's great stuff. When you're racing on an asphalt track, you know, the conditions can change, but for the most part, you know, the track is very similar on a lap-by-lap basis. The dirt tracks will vary a little more with ruts and holes appearing in the tracks, and, you know, there's certainly different lines that appear on those sort of things as well. But you know, the boat thing is a little different, and, you know, there's not the banging and bashing that you might get in say, stock car or sprint car racing or anything like that. You know, you've got to be a lot more respectful of your competitors and just from a safety standpoint, you know, a lot of the boats are still open cockpit boats, so you're not in an enclosed capsule or seatbelted in, so just got to be on the cautious side there as well, and, you know, pay respect to your competitors and to yourself as well and your equipment.
Let me ask you this question, and I'm almost out of time, but what about the control factor? I mean, on the water and basically not even hardly touching the water, as opposed to tires on a dirt or asphalt track, do you find it easier or harder to control these boats at high speed?
It certainly can do, yeah, absolutely. It depends on the boat setup, and propellers can make a huge difference to a boat. You know, what works on one boat, you can put it on a similar class boat or same class boat, and that prop won't work on the next boat. So propellers are very much like suspension and tyres on a race car, where they can make or break a good boat if you choose the wrong prop. And you also have the cavitation plates, which adjust the trim and the attitude of how high or low the boat can sit in the water, and that's controlled by a left foot pedal, so it's somewhat like a brake, you know, where you can set the boat down into the corners, but it doesn't act like a brake per se. It will float a boat up a little bit, but not dramatically as a brake. So you've got a couple of those factors, making sure the plates are set properly across the back of the boat, making sure you've got the right prop, engine position in the boat. There's a whole plethora of things that really come into the play that, you know, a lot of people that don't know a lot about boat racing don't understand until you tell them about it.
Chris, last question. If somebody, after they hear this interview, they go down to the Idaho Regatta at the Burley Golf Course Marina and look for you and your boat, what is your boat's name so they can follow you while you're in the race?
It's look for our team. Our team name is Bloomfield Racing. It'll be a big black semi-hauler, and we actually have 4 boats. We've got two more that just arrived from Australia, with 2 Australian drivers, and their teams are all arriving this weekend to drive. But my boat is a red boat called Explicit, number 77. So, yeah, we certainly welcome fans to come down, and we've got some great racing apparel, T-shirts and stuff that the guys are bringing from Australia and that we have for our team here for Bloomfield. We have 2 boats, Explicit and Rude Awakening. So, yeah, come by and see us and grab some shirts, hang out. We've got some great handout cards, and we'd certainly, love to see as many people down there on Friday for the shootout. If I can, just real quick, we'd love to thank our sponsors that we have for the shootout. A1 Heating and Air Conditioning out of Boise and McCall up there in Idaho. Boot Barn, which is America's largest Western and Worth store. They have stores locally for you guys up there in Twin Falls, Boise, and over in Ammon. And Air Power Unlimited in Jerome, Idaho. So, without those guys, that doesn't happen, and we certainly appreciate their support greatly.
I want to tell you, thank you for your time, and I wish you the best at the 40th Annual Idaho Regatta. Chris Kenner, thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks so much, Zeb. We look forward to hopefully seeing you guys there and as many race fans as possible next weekend. It's going to be a great event. 40th anniversary, Idaho Regatta.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. That's all taking place next week at the 40th Annual Idaho Regatta at the Burley Golf Course Marina, starting actually on Thursday with the show and shine and fish fry. Friday, of course, the boat parade, and then all the test racing, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all the races. You're going to love it at the Idaho Regatta. Holy cow, we got to pay some bills right now and take care of that. I want to remind you about Let's Ride. Vroom, vroom, vroom! Yeah, we just got done talking about fun on the water. Well, they've got all kinds of watercraft over at Let's Ride. You better believe it. For the lake, for the river, whatever, they've got the watercraft, and you can get out and cool off during the hot summer with watercraft fun at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Hayburn. Number to call, 436-4771. This is where the fun is sold at Let's Ride, and also they got all your 4x4s, all your ATVs, every kind of shape, color, etc. They're waiting for you. You stop in and see them today. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Really good people. Let's see, we're going to have our Dog Nation in just a moment, but before we do, I want to remind everybody about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, and the professionals that can help you, of course. Cameron and Siemens, Highway 24 in Rupert. Number to call, 436-4424. You give Dean and Todd a call today at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Woo! Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Holy mackerel, I'm running late. Ken Mort, he's probably going to catch me and throw me in the paddy wagon. Good morning, Officer Mort. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm sorry I'm running late. I just got so involved with various projects this morning. What's going on in the canine world?
Well, I actually have one to feature today.
Okay.
His name is Drake. He is a lab pit bull cross. He's about 5 to 6 months old. He's black with white on his chest and paws. He's a great little Annette guy, very friendly, great with people. Annette, other dogs, gets along with cats. He was running loose over by Neptune Park in Rupert, and we've had him. Annette, he actually came available for adoption today. And he's just a sweet, fun-loving little guy right now. He's going to grow up to probably be about 60, 70 pounds at least.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll make somebody a great, loving pet, and if they're looking for a new family member. And if they're interested in him, they can reach us at our facility at 438-2200 or 670-7268.
Okay. And what kind of a dog did you say he was again, Ken?
He is a lab pit bull cross.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And he actually knows some basic commands. He's well mannered on that for being a young pup.
Okay, good.
And then on another note, I've been working with Modern Woodman, and we have gotten my fundraiser put together that they're going to do a matching funds with, and add up to $2,500 to help us with raising the money for our kennels.
Oh, that is great.
And we will be doing it the 4th of July week. I'll actually be set up, Annette, selling raffle tickets on the evening of the 30th of June when Rupert does their 4th of July fireworks.
Okay.
And then I'll be set up again on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. On the 2nd, Annette, Modern Woodman out of Twin Falls is going to come down. And that evening, we're going to have ice cream for an hour. Annette, basically come in, do a free will donation. Annette, donate whatever you can afford to donate.
Okay.
And you get ice cream.
And there's not any way you can celebrate the 4th of July without ice cream.
Exactly. What a way to start off some of the celebration stuff, Annette, with a nice cold ice cream, Annette, cone or even a bowl of ice cream, and then turn around and go over and have your dessert first and stuff in that, and then go over to all the food booths they've got over there on the square.
Yeah, and buy an ice cream cone for your dog too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember, don't take them out to the square. And no dogs are allowed in the Rupert Square.
Yeah,
so make
right.
sure you're leaving your friends home. And also just wanting to put out there that we are still looking for donations. So if anybody's got items that they'd like to donate to help me with this raffle, I'm going to be selling the raffle tickets $2 a ticket or 3 for $5. I'm limited to 2,000 raffle tickets, so they're going to probably go fast because I've got some. So far, I've gotten some great businesses that have actually stepped up and are giving me donations. Like Schneider Surplus is providing me with several donations. Valley-wide, Les Schwab and Rupert, Les Schwab and Paul. I'm still working on some of the other local businesses, but we're gonna have some great raffle items and silent auction items.
You know, Ken, I think compliments and kudos should go out to you, Officer Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control. You have done an amazing job, and I salute you.
I appreciate it. I've enjoyed doing this, Annette, and and I'm not afraid to get out there and get dirty trying to help with raising the money or even doing the work on the facility and stuff and that we're trying to get moved into. As one lady said and stuff and that, she come out there, well, I had a scabbing machine and I was chipping the concrete so that we could add the additional concrete that we needed. And getting my hands dirty is no shame to me.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. How far are you away? I've only got 30 seconds left, but how far are you away from the actual move in and get started?
Basically, Annette, the only thing that's keeping us from being able to do it is being able to get these kennels. That's the one thing that is holding us back is the need for these kennels.
Okay. Well,
so far off a private donation, we've raised almost $3,000 just in private donations.
Oh, man, that is good. And you're going to be very visible during the Rupert 4th of July celebration, too, aren't you?
Yes. Matter of fact, I will be there and stuff and that, patrolling, making sure that people aren't bringing their dogs into the square.
Okay.
Plus, I'll also have the booth set up over in the evenings, Annette, over by the historic Wilson Theater in the grass area right over there, close to the bathrooms that are sitting over there, the porcelain gods, as a lot of people like to call them.
Yeah.
Annette. So all they got to do is come over to that area. They'll find me, and they can purchase raffle tickets and put down bids on the silent auction items.
I got an idea. Anybody that takes a dog to the Rupert Square, the fine is that you have to buy a kennel.
There we go.
There you go. Right up a ticket.
$100 a piece.
There you are. Hey, God bless you, man. Where'd all these dogs come from? Oh, my. Officer Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control and Dog Nation. Good morning, and thank you very much. One of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet, Ken Mort, and we really appreciate him. Oh, and talking about nice people, here's Rita.
Good morning. How you doing over there?
I'm hot. It's warm in here.
'Tis the season, huh?
Yeah. For the first time since last summer, Deanne went and got one of those big box fans out of the attic, and we got it turned on here in the studio, and it feels kind of good.
Well, that's good if you can keep control of your paperwork.
I've got a barricade in front of all my papers. I kid you not. I've got everything either scotch taped or nailed down to the desk, let me tell you.
Well, that's good. As long as you can keep a paperweight on it, you ought to be able to keep cool.
Hey, Rita, I was talking earlier this morning, and I know you and I have talked about it in the past, but seriously, it's a subject that a lot of people kind of scoff at and say, it's no big deal. But political correctness is ruining this society. What are your thoughts on PC?
Well, it really is, and as I've mentioned before, those who have been in the making of bringing communism to places are just sitting back saying, we really succeeded, because that's basically what it's all about. Is political correctness was enforced by those who were trying to enforce communism and socialism, and if you didn't believe the way that they did, it was basically off with your head or into a prison. And we do it here because we think we're trying to be nice to everybody, but what ends up happening is you go off the rails and it just gets out of control, and that's where we're at.
Give me, in your opinion, and in your everyday life, a part of PC that has affected you or made you upset. I mean, what has happened that political correctness has affected you, Rita Ramsey?
Well, I think what happens is that you're always afraid that if you say something, somebody's going to really come down on you, and so you have to really parse your words and make sure that what you say is fair and careful, and maybe that's a good thing to a certain extent instead of just saying something. But it just is so terrible when you have to be politically correct. You've got somebody always just monitoring, waiting for you to say something wrong so that they can attack you. And mostly just your speech. You don't have freedom of speech.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the old days when I was a kid. Of course, you're so much younger than I am, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But first of all, we have a caller. Caller, quickly, you're on the air.
Yeah, I can barely hear you, but today is the vote on that trade assistance deal, and I hope everybody will get hold of Simpson's office. 202-225-5531 is the Washington number. 202. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay, I can barely hear you, but anyway, 202-225-5531. That's his Washington office.
All right.
I there this morning. I know they're going to be voting. Simpson voted wrong to protect our sovereignty, and on the vote last week, he was one of 130-some that voted, for the bill that would give retraining for all of the millions that are going to be displaced with this passage of this bill.
All right. Well, thank you very much, caller. I appreciate it. Rita and I will discuss that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll talk about that trade bill in just a moment. But, Rita, we've lost, I think you'll agree with me, since you and I were kids, the ability to laugh at ourselves. I think we were a much closer and closer-knit society in the old days when we did tell the Polak jokes, when we did tell the Italian jokes, when we had jokes about ourselves. We laughed at ourselves. We kind of hung our shoulders together and just said, hey, you know what? Let's have a good time together. Those days are gone.
Well, they really are, and the thing that's sad about it is this is the way that they divide a nation, is by getting us so that we have to kind of sit in our own little corner saying, I better not say something because I might hurt somebody's feelings, or I better not do this. And, Adrian said something about retraining that kind of reminded me, and this political correctness thing, back in the days of the Chinese, the communists,
right.
and that,
yeah.
when they would use when they didn't comply with political correctness, they were sent off to retraining camps and tolerance sessions. Does that ring a bell at all?
Oh, does it ever? And that's where we're headed in this country underneath this current administration. And far as prayer in a cafe, prayer in a restaurant, there are those that will jump up and down and say you should be banished from the restaurant and or fined for practicing your religion. This is insidious as to what's happening.
Well, it is. And how many businesses have you heard where something happened and they were demanded by, I don't know who, but somebody, to go and have tolerance courses and learn how to tolerate these people and everything, and we're not going to let you stay open if you don't do this, or we're going to impose these huge fines if you don't do that. This is just the way that they did it in communist China 100 years ago.
In fairness to the caller a moment ago talking about this trade bill, this thing is a train wreck that has jumped the rails and headed towards the lake. I tell you what, this trade bill has got everybody confused. Nobody knows what's in it. It's so secretive. It is absolutely, I think, a danger to all of us here in America, and it gives so much more power to the president. It gives Congress basically, they can do what they want, they can change everything, and we, the American people, have no clue what they're going to be passing on us.
Well, we don't, and this is what makes me really sad about our representatives, our senators and our congressmen. Those who have the right to say, they're not backing up and saying, no, we're not going to put up with that anymore. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to be little mice and we're going to hide in the corner and we're not going to say anything, and so go ahead and just do it. But, that's part of the UN thing, the Agenda 21, and people can say, oh, that's conspiracy going and everything. But you know what? You start looking at history and studying the facts, and when there were people that disagreed with the socialists that were in power and the communists that were in power, we are down that same road, and it is so far that I don't know whether we can turn back. But we don't have our freedoms anymore. We can't do any of that stuff, and yet we tolerate it.
Well, what scares me about this trade bill that they keep bringing it up, you would think that the Democrats would have been in lockstep behind Obama, but no. All of a sudden, I guess because I'm against the trade bill and I don't like anything to do with it, now I'm a Democrat. I mean, my goodness, it's just blowing my mind.
Well, it is, and I can't for the life of me figure out why on earth our senators and Congress would just sit back and say, well, we're going to agree with Obama. For crying out loud,
yeah.
The Democrats aren't agreeing to it. So why should we be for it? If Obama wants it, we should be looking at it real clear and saying, you know what? I think this needs to go on the back burner for a while so we can investigate, and as soon as we can read all of it and study it and analyze it, then we'll talk about a vote. Until then, leave us alone. We're not going to do it. Yet it's like, let's just all jump into the sack together.
And that is that's the part that is the most insidious to me, is a kind of a cloak and dagger, clandestine, nobody knows, so secretive, behind closed doors, smoke-filled rooms. Nobody is going to let any information out of the bag about what this trade bill is. That really scares me.
Well, it should, because if it's, I heard Senator Crapo on an interview say, well, we decided we would do this because then it will come back to Congress and we'll be able to pass it or give the approval. Well, that's not really what it is. This is giving Obama the authority to negotiate, of which he doesn't have right now, or they wouldn't be asked to do this. So why should they give him the power to negotiate? Why don't they just leave it alone if it's got to come to the Senate to be confirmed or whatever? Why are they in a big hurry to do it? It's just that they want this done, and I think that the Chamber of Commerce through the United States is so intertwined in trying to get all this free trade solution, have all these jobs and everything, that there's a lot of pressure with the Republicans, and there shouldn't be. And it's just a sad deal, because it is not good for America. And any time when we talk about trade agreements, generally they're good for anybody but America.
Absolutely. Caller, real quick. I've only got about 2 minutes, and I got to get a weather forecast in. Go.
If you take all those senators and all those representatives, it doesn't matter the party, both parties, and put them in the sack, you know what comes out the bottom? A skunk, and it stinks.
What are your thoughts, quickly, while you're on the air with us, caller, about the trade bill and this Trans-Pacific trade agreement and this secrecy? What are your thoughts about this? I mean, why are we so gullible? Why do we let this happen?
Well, I don't know why we're gullible, because the people that we've elected and put in there aren't voting the way we want them to vote.
That's right.
But I'm on your side. I think it all stinks.
All right, sir. God bless you. Rita, that's just one of the topics this morning, this Trans-Pacific trade deal that I don't like. I don't like anything about it. I think, honestly, some people have been duped into believing it's going to be an asset for agriculture. I think it's going to be a detriment. I think it's going to create more problems with illegal aliens and immigration into this country. I think it also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on my thoughts here, Rita, but I talked to Dr. Gerard Lamero on Monday about this trade bill, and he agrees with me that it's going to give a lot of power to the United Nations over us and our Constitution.
Oh, absolutely. That's all that it is just giving abdicating the power over to the United Nations. And, people can laugh and giggle and say that some of us that say, this is the one world thing. Well, you know what? We're headed there, and this is just another step into it. And the part that's sad about it is that our conservative senators, and Senator Risch is one of the most conservative senators in the Senate, if not the most conservative, he's okay with it too, and it just boggles my mind why we can see that it isn't, and what are they seeing, for crying out loud?
I don't know, but along with that topic, I've got another topic that is really scaring me, and quite frankly, it's going to affect you and your business and everything else, and that is Obama with his executive orders on climate change and what he's going to do with carbon taxes, etc. So I'll mention that in just a moment. Right now, I got to quickly get a weather forecast in here, and the weather is brought to everybody by Duck Uglies. 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Oh, my goodness, what a great place to take the family for a delicious meal and super entertainment. Entertainment like Barton and Bowler, Callie and Emily, Ned Carter, and many, many more. It is fantabulous. Don't forget, and the ribs on Friday and Saturday night, oh my, are they delicious. At Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Here now is the weather.
Well, yesterday we hit a high of about 110, and you guys were up into the upper 80s, make that low 90s. You're going to be pretty much in that same realm as far as temperatures are concerned, and enjoy that sun because it's going to get just a little bit hotter. Other than that, through the weekend, you're just going to see a lot of sun, very little clouds. Overnight lows will be in the upper 50s, and enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Brought to everybody by Duck Ugly, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. The food is delicious. The entertainment is great at Duck Uglies. Rita, I don't know. We really haven't talked that much about climate change and what's going on. But more and more every day, top-named meteorologists and top scientists at various universities and colleges all across the world, and especially in the United States, are backing off on their claims of global warming and actually are saying we are going into a severe cooling change, and we'd better back up on our thinking as to what Obama wants to lead us into. What are your thoughts?
Well, the thoughts is that science again has proved us right, and that is that this is cyclical. And there is no way that it's going to be a global warming or a global cooling. It's going to cycle. And, I think the good Lord set it up that way so that it would remind us kind of who's in charge. God is in charge of the weather, and there's nothing that we can do to change it. Now, we do need to be good stewards of the land, but these people have just gone off of the rails. And, we've talked about this before. It's been a few years back. This carbon tax thing, all it is just a cap and trade. And what cap and trade means is they're going to cap the amount of energy that a person can use according to what their former usage was and deduct, 25% off and say, okay, you have to deduct 25% of what your normal, your normal usage is, and then we are going to really tax you anything you go over that. Or if you give us the right amount of money, we will let you have it in trade. And trade is that you give them money for these caps to be raised a little bit. And we'll go plant trees in the Amazon jungle, or we'll plant trees in probably the North Pole or something like that, some outrageous thing where darn good and well they're not going to. And the authors of this and those people who are very deeply involved in it, I can give you a few primary people. Bill and Hillary are involved in it. George Soros is involved in it. Al Gore's right at the top. Barack and Michelle, all of them have invested money and are waiting for the money to come pouring in on these cap and trade taxes. And that's all it is, and that's why they keep saying, oh, this is so important. This is so important. This is the number one problem against our national security is global warming, and it's like, really?
Yeah, and I want to say this, and I said it the other day on the air, and there were a few people that were offended by it, but I'm going to say it again because it needs to be mentioned. I said on the air the other day that I thought it was wrong. I thought it was a very poor choice by Pope Francis to come out with an encyclical that said, oh, we've got to support global warming. I think it was absolutely in poor taste, and I admonish him for saying that because I think he just basically kowtowed to the government control and the United Nations control.
Well, I think he's absolutely wrong also, and I don't know all of the mechanics of how he was chosen to be the Pope. I've had a number of people who were probably Catholic who have said, you know what, when that happened, there was a lot of hanky-pank and a lot of other things going on, and that other Pope was kind of steered down the road. He's getting senile, and we can't do this. We've got to retire him out, and that kind of thing. And so they pull in this fellow who is very socialist, and he is, and this is their big Trump card, is that this guy's a scientist. Well, if he's a scientist, how has he been climbing up the ranks in the Catholic Church as like from a father to a bishop to, various different things of which they devote their whole lifetime to that. So how long ago was it he was a scientist and he knows all of this and he's so up on it? It just seems to me that it's just a little bit curious as to how all this transpired, and now all of a sudden he's calling on all Christians in the world, and especially the Catholic faith, which is the biggest Christian faith in the world, and now I'm in charge. This is what you've got to do, and you've got to adopt this business of we've got to get rid of all of these people who are using too much electricity, and global warming is a big problem, and the socialist things that he wants, which is income equivalence, equality and that kind of thing. He is just for every one of those, and it's like, I'm wondering how many Catholics will follow along with him or how many he'll lose along the way, but he has jumped on the bandwagon big time, and I think it's a bad policy.
Well, he has lost a lot of following, and quite frankly, I'm not out here this morning to offend any one of the people that are connected with Catholicism whatsoever. But I will tell you this, that Rick Santorum, who is a Republican presidential candidate and also a Catholic, said it, I think, very well. He said the church has gotten it wrong a few times on science, and I think that we probably are better off leaving science to the scientists. And I've talked to many Catholics in the area, and their unified statement was they wish the Pope would have stayed out of a situation he really doesn't know that much about.
Well, I think the majority of the Catholic people probably feel that way. Also, I don't know whether this was the particular interview you were talking about, but Chris Wallace, when he interviewed Rick Santorum, and Santorum said, he needs to just stay out of it, let the scientists do it. And the first thing that Chris Wallace said was, well, he is a scientist. Are you saying he doesn't know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, that's their trump card, is that he's supposedly this scientist. I don't know, if his credentials are up to date, or, whether he was a scientist 40 years ago and he hasn't participated lately, or how he got on the bandwagon. But he is on the bandwagon, and it's bad.
Another subject real quick, and I've only got a couple of minutes left. Well, as a matter of fact, I think I'll forego that because it's going to take too much time. I'll ask you right now what's going on with the Tea Party as we go to midsummer.
Well, we're right in the middle of our district over here is losing Senator Cameron to the state insurance thing. He's going to be the Obamacare czar for Idaho. And because of that, he has to resign from his Senate seat, and there will be a process tomorrow night at 7 p.m. over at the King's Little Theater at the King Fine Arts Center in Burley, and they will decide who will be the people that will be recommended to the governor for appointment. And I would stress to people to get a hold of your precinct committee person and find out who they're leaning towards, and see if that's the person who you would be interested in them supporting. And if not, let them know who you want them to support. Find out who's doing it. Come to this meeting. You'll have a little bit of knowledge about what's going on. I don't know that anybody will have any say other than the precinct committee people, because they're the ones who do it. But there's going to be a pre-meeting from 7 to 8 and then from 8 to 9. And so this is the way that we choose who our senator will be that will represent us. And if you're wanting somebody that's maybe a little bit more conservative than our senator that we had previously, you need to find out who those people are and express to your precinct committee people that that's who you'd like them to support. Because if they don't get any phone calls, it'll be who they want, not who anybody else wants.
Right, and I want to stress the fact that there was some information that was erroneous. Only precinct committee men can nominate and vote at the meeting, even though the meeting is open to the public and all people are encouraged to attend.
That's right. The precinct people are the ones who will vote and take care of that. But I can't believe that they would be inviting everybody to come that is in the district that would like to participate in this, and you just sit and watch. However, it will be quite interesting. and people need to be there so that they have their piece to say if the opportunity comes up.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about Donald Trump, and we didn't even get a chance to talk about Miss Frumpy, Hillary. Holy cow, we ran out of time. I guess we'll have to kind of save and restore our comments for next Thursday.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of fodder on that for next week, then.
Real quick, I got to ask you this. It's a burning question with me. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that didn't like what I did yesterday in regards to that survey. I said, if you had to vote today and the choices were between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, who would you vote for and why? It was a landslide. Not one single person said they'd vote for Hillary. So maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and a lot of people seem to like Donald Trump.
Well, him or somebody else. We just do not want the same path that we're going down with this current president, and so it's important to make sure that whoever we get is way, way, way on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Holy smokes, I am late now. Rita Ramsey, God bless. Thank you so much for being on the program, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, my! It's a Thursday morning, and we have, what is there on this program? I think Wheels would agree with me. We got about 20 different segments on Thursday morning, and it keeps us really jumping. Right now, I'm going to talk about if you're hungry, like I am, I'm starving to death, and I know some great places you can go to quash that hungry feeling. Taco Bandito. Oh my goodness, 2301 Overland Avenue in Burley. Taco Bandito with their breakfast burritos. Oh, and they've got a new lime ranch dressing that I understand is absolutely fantabulous. And those breakfast burritos, scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, and cheese, onion, tomatoes, and special sauce on a tortilla shell. It's absolutely delicious at Taco Bandito. Let's move over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn, and food made the way you like it. Oh my goodness, and the patio is open, and music starts, every Friday and Saturday evening. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the people. You're going to love the menu. And try the pork chops with salad and choice of spuds. Oh my goodness sakes. And Steve's nacho fries. Ooh, good at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. You stop in and see them today. Don't forget, too, I'm drooling. Burgers, etc. 2 locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. Root beer floats only 99 cents after 3 p.m. until the end of August. I'll take 20. Oh, my goodness. And onion rings and all the delicious cheeseburgers. And, oh, by the way, fresh strawberry shakes at Burgers, etc. Both locations in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, we go over to the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Famous Farmer Brown burgers, ranch burgers. Oh, and try that new one, the chicken fried steak sandwich. Ooh, baby, it is good. You're going to love the food right there. And, oh, by the way, too, strawberry milkshakes, any kind of flavored milkshake, you stop in at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. And am I? We're going to take a little break right now, and then we're going to come back. Cassia County School Days, our business salute, everything coming up next hour, along with Vicky's Country Garden. Busy times. I'll see you in 6. Oh, my. Look out, here we go, last hour this morning, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by our major sponsor. We thank them very much, our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and along with some of our great advertisers like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and our friends at Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything, and I mean everything, for the farm, the home, and the ranch. And later on this hour, we're going to be talking to Eric about that great big antique tractor show coming up this weekend. We're going to have our next guest on the program in just a few moments, but first of all, I want to remind you that today is Thursday, and at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley, they're going to have lemon chicken piccata. Woo! Served with veggies and choice of soup or salad. That is at the Chadwick Sports Grill. Always great dinner specials, luncheon specials, and of course great menu items and nice people at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Let's see, what else have I got to do real quick? We're going to be having a little bit of a word right now on the Rupert 4th of July celebration. And their great big theme this year is Salute Our Troops. God bless them. That's a great theme. And the 4th of July celebration over in Rupert starts actually on June 30th with the Christmas in July breakfast right there on the square and the big fireworks display by the Rupert City Fire and Rescue that night. And then July 1st, certain items like Soul Patch will be the featured performer. On the 2nd, they're going to have, of course, all the carnival items. And, on the 3rd, don't forget, at the fairgrounds, they're going to have the lawnmower races. Oh, my. And then on the 4th of July, family rodeo at the fairgrounds at 8 p.m., horse racing earlier in the day at 2 p.m. All of this and much more at Rupert's 4th of July celebration with the theme, Salute Our Troops. Thank you very much. Hey, you know that on Thursdays we have a special segment, and it is called, of course, our friends, thank you very much, Cassia County School Days. And we have two sponsors of Cassia County School Days, and they are A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland in Burley. At A Child's World, June is their annual Everything for Babies and Toddlers sale, and you'll find the items 20 to 70% off. And they've got baby registries with 10% off for your shower guests and a great big sale on summer dresses, too. So stop in to A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, along with Ambulatory Surgery Center. And for your outpatient surgery procedures like colonoscopies and carpal tunnel hand surgery, eye surgeries, many more. So please contact them today and let them save you money. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley, along with A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. And with us on the phone right now is, from Declo Elementary, Kevin Lloyd. How are you, Kevin?
I am doing great, Zeb. How are you?
Not too bad. You've been on the program before, haven't you?
Yeah, about a year ago, I think.
That's what I thought. You know, here you are, it's summertime and nothing to do, right? Teachers just kind of lay around with their feet propped up all summer, right?
You know, if that were the case, I would be much more happy, I think.
Really? What are you doing during the summer to help the kids maybe appreciate some of the school days?
Well, during the summertime, a lot of times we have to prep for the next school year. Any kind of hirings that still need to occur, we need to do that, find the people, interview them, and get the right people in the right places. All the curriculum we have to make sure we have on hand, materials we have to get ready for the next school year. Any kind of trainings, we go to a lot of trainings throughout the summer. I'll be going to 2 or 3 of them this summer, 2 or 3 days elsewhere. And so meetings, a lot of financial different things. Not the most exciting things, quite honestly, but really important. And without them, the school year would start, but we wouldn't have what we needed.
There you go. Now, Kevin, let me ask you, I understand that you're going to be talking about this morning about the strategies and initiatives of getting books into the kids' hands this summer so they can enjoy a really good summer reading program.
Yes, that's right, Zeb. You know, schools will try and pretty much do anything we possibly can to make sure that the kiddos can continue to at least keep reading and, keep using their brains throughout the summer. Unlike, I suppose, what I was like as a kid. When summer started, I just ran away from anything that was written. But, we try really hard. Some schools try to keep their libraries open or do programs. At Declo Elementary this summer, we are using a program called MyOn, and there's a number of programs out there like this, but this is one we've chosen to go with, and it's pretty simple. It's simply 4,000 plus audiobooks that we have on a program that the kids can access anywhere that there's internet access, and so we can bring those books into their homes. It's a program that really helps out those kiddos that are emergent readers, kiddos that are still just starting out to learn to read. Well, it can read to them, and so it makes it accessible not just to those kiddos starting to read, but even in multiple languages. And it's basically we bring the library to the home versus them having to come to the library.
What is the difference? I guess this is a question that a lot of parents might be asking. If you see a child that basically is turned loose for the summer to go hunting and fishing and swimming and enjoy just being outdoors, versus also adding into their, if you will, curriculum during the day, a little bit of reading, what's the difference when they go back to school in the fall? What do you see as changes in the student?
You talk to any educator, and they will say the same thing. The difference is huge. For an adult who has already learned to read and to write and is proficient in those things, having a long break won't do as much, won't be as difficult for them to pick it back up. But for those kids that are just learning, it's like trying to learn to ride a bicycle, not learning, and then stopping, and then going back and trying to learn, not learning, and stopping. It doesn't work. A kiddo that keeps their, at least a little bit every day or every other day, if they read a little bit a little bit throughout that time, they will go back and they're not starting over. They're not trying to relearn those the same skills. So it is a huge. It'll save us months of remediation throughout the school year and review at the beginning of the school year. If the kids keep just reading a little bit throughout the summer.
Yeah, but Kevin, how do you go about getting into their minds and incorporating a thought like, boy, this is going to be fun, when all they looked forward to when the weather started getting better in the spring was slamming that school door for the last time? How do you get into their minds to create a feeling that this is going to be fun?
Zeb, if I had the answer to that, I promise you, I'd write a book, and I'd make a lot of money. But my best answer for you is this: the parents. Kids. That's the way the kids are, and by golly, that's wonderful. That's the way you and I both were, I bet. But if the parents, let the kids have a little space off, give them a week off of everything, let them just be crazy, climb trees, skin knees, and whatnot. But then, just every day, 5 minutes, hey, open up a book, just read with me. Oh, let's read together. Let's just a little bit. Don't try to make it a huge thing. But the parents are consistent with that. It makes all the difference in the world.
Does it matter? And I can think back to when I was a summer vacation student. I enjoyed reading. I really did. And I think it helped me in my reading and writing career and then also communications career. But does it matter what type of reading, or just let the kids read it and not be too legislative about what they want to pick?
The only thing I would suggest is if they're into reading, let them read. Let them read. If it's below their level, if it's not as challenging as it could be, it's okay. Just that they read. If you want to take it a step further, I would diversify the type of books they're reading, the genres that they're reading, and just give them exposure to different types of vocabulary. But quite honestly, if beggars can't be choosers, and I would just let them read, if that's okay.
Okay. Now, what about the area libraries? Are they prepared to help moms and students in the summertime kind of have a selected reading list and available to them?
Well, I know that the Burley Public Library, they do their summer program, and they really try to, engage the kids, have fun things going on, different activities throughout. And anytime you ask one of those awesome ladies and people that work there, if you know what to read and whatnot, they're always more than willing to give you ideas, point you in the right direction of what resources there are.
Okay. And then what about the fact, the question that comes up, everybody's so critical of education, not only here, but across the board. Is reading a dying thing for entertainment, or do you see it on a resurgence? What do you honestly feel?
I feel that when you get kiddos that are into reading, they'll become lifelong readers. They'll love it, just like you and I did. But it takes time. And, my best and honest answer to that is no, absolutely not. We'll have readers forever. And it'll change. We'll do a lot more audiobooks in the future. We'll do a lot more things, even more than now. But it'll always be there. And it'll always be that key component in education, being able to read and write. Because literacy is not just reading and writing. It's speaking and listening and thinking intelligently. And reading is just one major, but one part of that overall literacy.
I would imagine that, of course, now I'm an old fogey, and I can remember the Hardy Boys mystery books, and then for my sister, she had all the Nancy Drew mysteries and everything. Has reading and books and writing and authors, have they kind of changed over the years, or is there still that kind of interest for the kids?
You find that right book for those kiddos, whether it be Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you find that right book for those kids, they will just run with it. And sometimes it's just finding that right book that a kid loves, finding that one that interests them, that genre, the idea. One thing that is different today than in the past, though, is that fantasy is much more popular. That the fiction, fantasy, science fiction, all those ones are way more popular now. And that's something we try to balance at schools. We try to make sure that they not only, get those books they love, which are usually fantasy, not always, but the majority. We try to push in that nonfiction, that, history, that biographies, all those other ones that are phenomenal, but they don't readily gravitate towards.
Absolutely. Kevin, I want to say how much I appreciate your coming on the program. Any final thoughts that maybe I've overlooked this morning? Go ahead.
Not at all, but I'll just throw in a plug to any parent of any school of any age. Try to have that consistency. If you haven't so far, it's okay. Just grab a book with those kiddos and pick up a novel and read with them, and read it over the summer, or, get them some access to Myon or anything that they've got, the public library, and just get them reading. If they come back reading a little bit throughout, they will do that much better the next year.
Absolutely. Kevin Lloyd with Declo Elementary. Thank you, sir, and come back and visit with us again in the future, if you would, please.
I will, Zeb. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Have a great summer. And right now, I'd like to remind everybody, before we get our next guest on the program, that pianist Jim Hendricks, professor of music at Chicago State University, is going to be in concert at the historic Wilson Theater Saturday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale at the Wilson Theater, the bookstore, Welch's Music in Burley, and at the door. And the prices for the tickets are $17 and under, $5, $10 for adults, $25 for a family. And Mr. Hendricks is internationally known and has performed with many, many greats such as the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Dave Brubeck, oh boy, do I like that music, and Della Reese. And for more information on this concert, don't forget to call my friend Gary Shoresman at 436-3982. Okay? Got you covered on that. Right now, we're going to take a little trip, and we're going to go over to Barry Equipment and Rental, and we have with us on the air, I think it's Will Janes, right?
Yes, sir. How are you, Zeb?
Not too bad. You're the kind of the new gunfighter in town, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I am.
Well, now tell me, Will, what's going on this time of the year? What is the main thrust for people to want to come into Barry Equipment and Rental and check out all the equipment, all the home projects? What's going on over there?
Well, right now, actually, we're doing quite a bit. We're having a lot of movement. Coyote tractors and Bobcat, our Bobcat construction line of skid steers and track loaders. They're doing a lot of really cool things. Just making some good discounts on some equipment. So this is really the time to buy. Okay.
And also that doggone grass keeps on going and growing, and you've got the best Walker mowers available, right?
That's right. We've got a full lineup for anywhere from the big commercial guys to we just got in a couple of the little bit smaller ones, more for the homeowner.
Okay. What kind of financing program have you got on the Walker mowers?
0 for 48, or in some cases we can get 0 for 60.
All right. Now, there is a big deal going on tomorrow, I understand, at the Burley location at 159 West Highway 30. What's going on over there?
There is. There's we're holding our annual open house and Customer Appreciation Day. It's from 11 to 1 tomorrow. There, like you said, at the Burley store. Basically, we're going to have several different things going on. We're going to have a lineup of our 3 different sizes of Doosan loaders, Bobcat skid steers back in our gravel pit, and Coyote tractors, and you can play around with them and test drive them. And then as you walk in, we have a little chipping contest. And if you, just for trying the contest, you're going to get a coupon for a cheeseburger or a hot dog and a soft drink there at Duck Ugly's right next to us, which, you know, makes a really, really good burger.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, just for trying, and then if you make the chip, you're put automatically into a drawing for a new chainsaw or weed eater.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't understand what you said. A tripping contest, or what is it again?
Chipping, for like golf. Chipping.
Oh, okay.
Chipping a golf ball.
All right. Well, you can plan on, I'm going to be there, and if they get it in the hole, or do they get it close, or what qualifies?
Well, basically, we're going to put a piece of equipment out there, and whether it be a walker mower or Bobcat skid steer or something like that, and all you got to do is make it in the bucket.
Really? Well,
and then you are qualified for the raffle, and the first 2 names drawn out of the raffle win the chainsaw or the weed eater.
Oh, my goodness sakes. All of that's going on tomorrow with your great big open house right there at Berry Equipment and Rental. And give them the location and the time again, if you would, please.
We're right off 159 West Highway 30 there in Burley. And the time is going to be from 11 to 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Now, Will, you being kind of the new guy over there, I understand that you are, of course, a local person that absolutely knows everything about equipment. And if people have questions, tomorrow would be a great time to not only come in and ask the questions, but also to basically, like you said, give a little test drive to see how it's going to work for them, right?
Absolutely. We're going to have a big crew there. Myself and our general manager, as well as the owner of the company, is going to be there. So any questions, concerns, want to test drive something, we are going to have the people there to answer them and be able to help as much as we can.
All right. I'll tell you what, these folks are phenomenal. Berry Equipment and Rental. And you've got 3 locations. I'm going to let you do the commercial. What are the locations, if you would, please, Will?
We've got 3 locations, one of them in Jerome, our main office in Twin Falls, and then our Burley store.
Okay. And tomorrow, the open house from 11 to 1. And, boy, I'll tell you what, you're teamed up with old Duck Uglies. They've got a pretty good bill of fare next door.
They do. And one last thing we're doing is if tomorrow, when you come into the open house, if you mention the Zeb Bell at the ranch show, we will give you 10% off of that day's rental.
Oh, my goodness sakes, just mention my name and save money.
That's right.
All right. Will, you're a good old boy, and I appreciate it. And we'll send everybody in there tomorrow to Berry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And thanks for coming on the program. You did a really nice job.
Hey, thank you, Zeb.
All right, sir. Take care. Hey, just mention my name, and you get 10% off tomorrow over at Berry Equipment and Rental. And you stop in and see those good folks tomorrow, okay? I want to remind everybody that we are in just a little bit of time. As soon as I wrap up my last interview for this morning, we're going to jump in the old pick-em-up truck and head for Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant. Don't forget that. We've got a lot of prizes today. And in celebration of June Dairy Month, we got some specialty prizes. I think everybody's going to go out of there with something. And, of course, all of our gift certificates that we have, thanks and compliments to Smith's Food King, Walmart, and Hanson Mortuary. Thank you so much. And my lovely bride has taken just boxes and boxes of stuff out to my pick-em-up truck, and we're going to head over to Denny's Restaurant in just a little bit after the program this afternoon. I'm not going to have a lot of time later on, but I wanted to remind you that next week on the program, Doug Johnson, of course, is going to be on Monday. Then we're going to have on Monday also the Alliance Defending Celebrating Freedom, and the segment with Ron Ellis and BASF. And then Dan Kish. I want to stress this. It's very, very important that we learn as much as we can about what this administration is going to try to do to force us to pay a lot more money and cut back on use of fossil fuels and everything else with his climate change program. And Dan Kish is going to be on the program next week at 10:06 to talk about this, and we need to all be paying attention because it's going to cost us money. And then at 10:30 next Monday, George Mass is going to be on the air talking about the monument over in Rupert, and they're going to have a special function on July 1st. So that's all coming up on Monday. I just had word not more than 5 minutes ago that the governor is going to be on my program on Tuesday at 9:30, and hopefully we can keep the governor coming back on the program week after week for a couple of weeks at that 9:30 time slot. And guess who's going to be coming back on the air with us next Tuesday? Frosty Woldridge is back from his bike trip, and we're going to get Frosty back on the air at 9:06 on Tuesday. So we have got a full plate coming up next week. And then one other special that I want to mention to you, that we are going to have a husband and wife on our program here in the studio next week on Wednesday at 10:06, and Ben and Lacey Thompson. And Lacey has gone through so much, and she's a professional skier, and she is also in a wheelchair. And we're going to be talking to her and her husband Ben next Wednesday. Don't miss that. Caller, I've got 1 minute left. Real fast. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. If I'm not mistaken, we are going into a cooling cycle, aren't we?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, so this whole thing is just a farce.
Global and climate change is nothing more, I think, and I think it's going to be hard to prove I'm wrong, nothing more than a way to control more of America and take more money out of our pocket.
Absolutely, you're right. Just keep on going there, Zeb.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Tony. Right now, we're going to send it over to our main studios. We'll be back in 3 minutes with Vicky's Country Garden. Don't go away.
Time now for funeral announcements brought to you by Rasmussen Funeral Home, 1350 East 16th Street in Burley, a family serving families. The funeral for 89-year-old Dora Mae Williams of Rupert will be held at 10 a.m. this morning at the Rasmussen Funeral Home in Burley, where friends and family may call from 10 until 10:45. Burial will follow in the Paul Cemetery. That's funeral announcements for today brought to you by Rasmussen Funeral Home, 1350 East 16th Street in Burley, a family serving families.
I have a story to tell. It's the most important story of my life because it's about the love of my life, my husband. I'll tell you about the time he returned a hero and brought other soldiers back as well. I'll tell you about a man who brought honor to a nation and pride to our family. And while I'm telling you this, I'll show you his medals and the flag that I now hold to my heart, and pictures of him with our kids and grandkids. I do this not only to respect my husband's memory, but so that others remember their...
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour. And we're going to go now via the telephone over to Vicky's Country Gardens at 185 South 600 west of Paul. And here is the lovely Miss Vicky. Good morning.
She has not called in yet, sir.
Well, why not, Wheels?
I don't know. She usually calls in early. I think it's because we have shortened the funeral announcement.
Yeah, you kind of surprised me, too. I was about ready to jump out of the chair, and I jumped right back in. Thank you very much. We're waiting for Vicky to give us a call. Hopefully she won't be too much later. I've got a lot of things crammed into this half hour, as you well know. And we're about ready to start Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South 600 west of Paul, number 438. 438-5663, and hopefully she'll be calling in just a moment. That kind of leaves me with a hollow feeling right now. Let's see if she's going to call, and then we'll do our weather forecast. And following that, we're going to talk to Eric briefly at Valleywide Home and Ranch and talk to him a little bit about that antique tractor show that is going to be at Valleywide this weekend. Wheels, please tell me that she's called in.
She has not, but I'll try calling the number.
Yeah, call that number, 438. I think that's her right now. Okay, good. Woo! Talk about wipe the sweat from my brow. Hopefully that's going to be her. Vicki, is that you?
It is. It's me.
You scared me almost to death. How are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What can I say?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers is not wearing a sweater.
I wouldn't need one today. It's a little warm out there.
Exactly. What's going on over at Vicky's Country Garden today?
Well, we're just here getting everything watered up and ready for everybody I'm sure everybody's going to be sprucing up their yards for the 4th, so we've got some sales going on and lots of pretty flowers yet that you can put in there. Got lots of bark and rock, all kinds of things.
Okay, now I have a couple of questions, and some of the handwriting is a little bit sketchy, even some worse than mine. But this one lady wrote in and she says, "My roses, they have bugs on them. What should I do?"
Okay, with roses, that's a fairly simple solution. As far as that goes, there is a product out. It's a rose fertilizer and systemic. Mine's a Fertilome product, and it has a systemic in it that lasts 5 to 6 weeks that keeps the bugs off of the roses. It keeps them healthy. Plus, it also fertilizes them and keeps them blooming. So
okay.
You put it down. You mark on the calendar. You put it down about every 5 weeks in the dirt around it. And it keeps your roses really healthy. So if it's just bugs that's the problem, if there's little half moons taken out of the leaves on your roses, looks like little bites have been taken out of the edges of the leaves, that is probably leafcutter bees. And they usually work on them for a while and then to go back to the hayfields. So
okay.
That's not a big problem. Aphid is your big problem on roses.
Okay. Now, this next question, it was a full paragraph, and I'm pulling the question out of here. Basically, she asks, does mulch help keep flowers cooler?
Well, mulch helps keep your moisture in the ground, which is going to keep... keeps the moisture there so that the roots are staying cooler, which helps the plant. Yes, it does. I mean, it does help a lot.
Okay.
Not necessarily the upper part of the plant, but it does keep the roots cooler, and that's your part that sustains life, is your roots. So if you've got happy roots, you've got a happy plant. Happy
roots? You've been in the office way too long over there, Vicki.
You think?
So happy roots make a happy plant.
Yes, it does. Happy, healthy plant.
What about this heat, though? I mean, we talked about this a little bit last week, and it looks like our forecast all the way through the weekend going into next week, we could see the upper, high 80s, low 90s, that type of thing. What about the garden and potted flowers? Is there anything extra protection that's needed?
Not necessarily extra protection, but you just want to make sure they're watered thoroughly. Don't do quick watering, short waterings. Make sure you water your garden nice and deep. Make sure the soil is watered down deep, not just a little sprinkle over the top. With your hanging baskets and that, make sure you saturate them very well. Water them through 4 or 5 times. So that they're good and saturated, and if you'll do it in the evenings, they can absorb the water and be a little stronger through the day for you if you'll water evenings when it's cool. But yeah, just do deep waterings and make sure that everything is staying nice and wet. You just don't want to get them real sloppy. You don't want to water 3 or 4 times a day, because then you can cause root damage. As far as getting things too wet. The roots do have to breathe, and you don't want them sloppy wet.
Happy roots.
Happy roots again.
Yeah. Now, what about fertilizer? A lady wrote in, and we've kind of touched on this in the past, but I can tell this lady that a couple of years ago, I put way too much fertilizer on the garden and burned things up. What type, how much, when to use it, etc.? What would you suggest on fertilizer?
Well, if you're doing foliar fertilizers, which is like your Miracle Grow that you mix with water and go through the hose end feeder or watering can, that type of thing, and you're going over the top of the foliage, never do that during the heat of the day. You always do that in the evenings when it's cool. You never want to do that during the heat of the day. You will burn the plants royally. And early mornings, people say, well, how about early mornings? Early morning is like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, not 8 or 9, because the heat's already up there.
Okay.
So I always just say do it late in the evenings. That way you know the temperatures are going down and it's going to stay cooler. If you're doing a granular fertilizer, never put it right up around your plants. Put it around the base, but not up touching the plant. You don't want it on the plant. You want it in the dirt so that it can water down to those happy roots again, so that they can drink it up and make a happy plant again.
Boy, everybody is happy today. And I was going to ask you, too, you've got all the products over there for providing a healthy garden. And what about some of the main products that you want to tell people about?
Well, we have a really good gardener special fertilizer that works great on your gardens, flower beds, gardens, shrubs, that kind of thing. It's got a real good breakdown on it. It's got a high phosphate in it, and so it really produces a lot of fruit. And it's a slow release, so you can add it about every month and a half, or so. Just kind of go in and just put it down in and water it down. It's a real good fertilizer for that. We have the Blooming and Rooting here that is the water-soluble like the Miracle Grow, but it is a very high phosphate, and it keeps your hanging baskets and your planters and things like that just blooming like crazy. It'll keep them just looking like they just came right out of the greenhouses if you'll just use it regularly. Just remember, on the water-based fertilizers, you have to use them on your flower beds and on your planters and that at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
Petunias and that are heavy feeders.
All right.
They need a lot of food.
All right. So. And it is time now for the Vicky's Country Garden Tip of the Week.
Okay, my tip of the week is, like I say, it is hot. There is no doubt. But get your plants, take care of your plants, and don't overwater. Do not water them during the middle of the day because you can cause burning, you can cause leaf spotting, and also it brings up the humidity and starts the fungus, and there again we have the blights, and that's setting in. So watch your watering and get your fungicides out and get started on your tomatoes right now with fungicide because we're already seeing it. So get started so you don't lose your garden to that lovely fungus.
One lady sent me a little note, and she said, Vicky's Country Garden, they've got everything for the gardens, but you very seldom ever mention about landscaping. And quickly tell us about that.
Well, we have all the landscaping fabric. We've got trees and shrubs. We've got all the prep stuff, like I say, the landscape fabric in all different widths. We've got our Montana River rock is in. We've got 3 different kinds of rock, bark. We've got the compost. We've got everything you need to do landscaping. All you need is the shovel and the willpower.
Okay. Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663. Anything else before I let you go? I'm running a little late this morning because I got to go to Lunch Bunch, as you well know. But tell us, what else have you got real fast?
Well, we've got all of our annuals on sale, 25% off, and all of our vegetables are on sale at 25% off, too. So, if you're, like I say, if you're sprucing up your yard, come see us. We got new yard art in. We've got flamingos. We've got donkeys. We've got goats. We got everything. So just come see us.
And happy roots.
And happy roots, yes. You got to keep happy roots for happy plants.
God bless you, Vicki. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next Thursday.
right, thanks, Zeb.
Thank
See
you. Bye-bye. Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And Gardening for Idiots every Thursday, and I learn a lot, and you will too. Thank you to the lovely Miss Vicky. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the weather forecast real quick, brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats, and then Wheels is going to get Eric from Valley White on the phone, and then I'm going to jump in the pick-em-up truck and head for Denny's, and of course, the great big lunch bunch. Don't forget Scarrows Meats. They sell taste one bite at a time, and they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone number to call, 324-7657. All the delicious meats, beef, pork, chicken, cheese, everything right there in that tax return meat package, like ground beef, rump roast New York steaks, pork chops, brats, bacon, chicken. Oh my goodness, cheese. It's delicious. Check it out today by calling 324-7657. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road in Jerome. And yes-sirree, Bobby, they sell taste one bite at a time. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
Well, yesterday we hit a high of about 110, and you guys were up into the upper 80s, make that low 90s. You're going to be pretty much in that same realm as far as temperatures are concerned, and enjoy that spell because it's going to get just a little bit hotter. Other than that, through the weekend, you're just going to see a lot of sun, very little clouds, overnight lows will be in the upper 50s, and enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. And again, brought to you by Don Scarrow and his crew at Scarrows Meats. Oh, my, yes, 331 North Road, Jerome, and they sell taste one bite at a time. You be sure and give them a call, 324-7657. We are going to go on the phone line right now and talk to Eric at Valley White Home and Ranch and helping us with all the activities over at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything, and I mean everything, for the farm, the home, and the ranch. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Great, Zeb. How are you this morning?
Hey, man, it's great to have you on the program, and I know that every week is a busy week over at Valley White Home and Ranch, but this week is a little special this weekend. Tell us what's going on with the Antique Tractor Show.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me, Zeb. I appreciate it. So what we got going on this weekend over at the Home and Ranch is our second annual Antique Tractor Show.
Okay.
And basically what it is we have area folks who have restored antique tractors. They bring it on down to the Home and Ranch, and we encourage everybody to go there, and each tractor will have a number on it, and go inside and vote for your favorite, and in turn that person will win one of two trophies or a gift card. And the big highlight of it is we do this for the community. One of the things that really drives people to come in is our Burgers for a Buck that go on from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. both Friday and Saturday. And every single dollar that the public spends will benefit the local 4-H and Cub Scout program.
Absolutely, and I think that's so imperative. 4-H, Cub Scouts, the whole 9 yards. Now, the Antique Tractor Show, they've already registered, and when is the voting and the final results? When are you going to have that taken care of?
We'd like to have the voting start around 10:30 or 11 when people start to come in for the burgers.
Okay.
And they can vote all the way through till Saturday about 2 o'clock, and then the actual awards will be given out about 2:15 on Saturday afternoon.
Okay. Eric, there's so many things going on for the summer, and you've been so supportive of the 4-Hers, providing them 10% off on their purchases through the fair season. What else is going on at Valley White that you'd like to acknowledge this morning?
Well, you know, it goes without saying, but with our tractor show and our Burgers for a Buck, we do have sales going on in the store. Both Friday and Saturday, we're offering any size fountain drinks for 50 cents for Friday and Saturday. And also, we want to remind everybody that Valley White Home and Ranch is your place to pick up your Idaho Fish and Game licenses as well.
You know, when you say that, this fishing department, boy, it's really taken off. You've even got the worms over there. You got everything. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we basically have everything you need to catch big lunker trophy fish that you wanted mounted above your fireplace. We've got your nets, your reels, your rods, your string. You name it, we've got you covered. And, you know, also we like to think that Valley Wide Home and Ranch is your stop for your summer adventures. I mean, you can get your fountain drinks for 50 cents. You can get your ice, your snacks for the road, your clothes, and, fill up your car on the way out of town. And we've got everything that you need to get you on down the road.
One other thing, and I'm pretty fussy about my boots, and boy, you've got the Ariat boots, really good boots in stock, and I understand you really knocked off a big percentage of the money for them, too.
That's right. 25% off all men's Ariat boots that we have in stock for Friday and Saturday. And we also, one of the other big things that we're touting while they last is we have a Shop Vac Pro 10-gallon Shop Vac vacuum for $64.99, which is a savings of $20 off. So I know a lot of guys out there, their honeydews start growing when the weather gets nicer, and one of those things is cleaning out that garage. So guys, come on down and get yourself a Shop Vac and save $20.
And one last item here this morning. Doggone, with this hot weather, the bugs and the flies are getting thick, and you've got all the spray over there, right?
Yeah, we got the sprays, we got the trap and toss, and, everything you need to have a nice, comfortable outing in your backyard or camping. We've got you covered down there.
I'll tell you what, Eric, it's going to be a lot of fun with this antique tractor show right there at Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. And don't forget, on both days, Friday and Saturday, burgers for $1, helping proceeds to go to the local 4-H chapters and the Cub Scouts, you said, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Anything else before I let you go, my friend?
Well, we just like to see everybody come out and support, the local 4-H and Cub Scouts. Take a look at these beautiful pieces of living history, and maybe get your picture on our Facebook album while you're down there. So run around snapping pictures for everybody.
All right, Eric. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the summer, and we do appreciate you on behalf of Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Have a wonderful weekend at that tractor show. Okay.
You too, Deb. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir, very much. Eric with Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Really, really good folks. I do have to wrap things up a little bit early, and that's why I impose on Wheels just a little bit. He's going to play a couple of tunes so I can jump in the old pick-em-up truck and hopefully not get picked up for speeding as we head towards our lunch bunch. But before I go, I want to remind you about our good friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. And, of course, they've got that free pre-trip safety check, visual tire inspection, and visual wheel alignment inspection, visual inspection of the brakes, etc., and the list goes on and on. You stop in at any one of the 7 locations, and they will provide that free pre-trip safety check. Have trouble saying that sometimes. And don't forget the best in tires, too, and on sale right now, the Wildcat AT2 tire, all-season traction, smooth, quiet ride, and that's for your pickups and SUVs. Stop into your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Wheels, get on the microphone there for a minute. Are you going to cover for me while I jump in the old truck and head for Denny's?
Yes, I do. We already have a couple songs loaded for you. So
all right. Good. You're a good man, and I hope you're going to make it to Lunch Bunch, and we'll see everybody there. Lots of prizes, lots of support from June Dairy Month at Denny's Restaurant at Lunch Bunch coming up in about 40 minutes, as a matter of fact. Until next Monday, I want to leave you with this thought. The way things were, the way things ought to be, and yes, you can succeed if you try in America. Zeb at the Ranch. Zeb Bell, God bless. We'll see you at Lunch Bunch. Take care.